Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we are talking about Unchained. Now, I am a little bit late to this, but honestly, Unchained has been super fun from what I've played, and it is one of the more fun decks currently in Yu-Gi-Oh! And it is extremely powerful. It's not like the end-all be-all tier 0, it's not better than Snake Eye or anything like that, and it's probably not even stronger than Labyrinth currently. At least in Master Duel, in a best of one format, but it is still very strong, and it has a lot going for it. Wave King Caesar is an absolute powerhouse of a card, so, and the ability to basically get this guy onto the field is very, very nice. Another big thing that it has going for it is the fact that it can go second very well, through breaking boards pretty efficiently, utilizing all of the high power effects of your Unchained monsters, which is very, very nice. Also, a lot of people do not know how to play this deck, nor how to play against this deck, so do keep that in mind. But yeah, let's just quickly do the card by card and the explanation. Starting off here with the Unchained monsters, we're playing 3 Aruha. This is just kind of the best one. It's normally a one-card starter with any other, like, card, basically. You know, you can chain it with Abomination's Prison, you can chain it with Escape, you can chain it with Chamber, you can chain it with any of these guys, even something like a Shavara it pairs really well with, because the effect is you can target a card you control, and then you're locked into Fiends for the rest of that turn, but then you destroy that card, and then you special summon this card from your hand. And destroying cards is what Unchained wants to do, so being able to destroy a card there is pretty useful. Then we have we're playing 2 Rakea. Rakea is a quick effect pop on either player's turn. You just pop one of your own cards, which is very, very nice. And then you're locked into Fiends. But then they, yeah, so we're playing 2 of that. I've seen a lot of decks play 1 of it. I prefer 2. I think it's more useful to have that second one. It's pretty nice just at draw in and of itself. It pairs well with a lot of the other set cards and stuff like that, so it's not terrible. It's pretty good. We are then also playing 1 Sarama. Sarama has the effect to target an Unchained card in the grave and set it, and then pop a card you control. This is pretty nice. You can, you know, reset something like a Rakea and then just bring back, or you can, you know, set something like a Rakea or an Aruha and then just pop them, and then you get the special summon off of them. Oh, all of these have the same effect, by the way, where if they're destroyed, they special summon from the deck. And it specifically special summons from the deck, which is kind of annoying, so do keep that in mind. Next up, we're playing 3 of the new Shavara. This card's absolutely insane. During the main phase, quick effect, just pop a card you control, target a Fiend or a face-down card you control, destroy it, and then special summon this card. And then also, you're locked into Fiends while it's on the field, and if this card is sent to the graveyard, you just set an Unchained spell directly from your deck. This is just insanely good, yeah. Especially since all of these things that you're going to be targeting basically have floating effects. A Prison has a floating effect if it's destroyed while it's set. Escape has a floating effect when it's set. Abominable Chamber has a floating effect when it's set. Wailing has a floating effect when it's set. All of these have floating effects, so they just float into any of your guys. They can also even float into Shavara, which is pretty nice. But it's also a level 6 Fiend, which is very useful for Wave Caesar, or Wave High King Caesar, which is a very useful thing. And then the other level 6 is Shiyama. Normally, you're going to want to get this into the graveyard through, or special summon it off of something else's effect, because drawing it is not very good, unlike Shiyama, or Shavara. Shiyama effect is, you can target a card you control, destroy it, and then destroy a spell trap on the field. Notably, this doesn't target, and you can destroy one of your own if you want to. But if this card is in your graveyard, you can also target a Fiend monster or a face-down card you control, destroy them, and then special summon this card, but put it onto the bottom of the deck when it leaves the field. So, notably, it doesn't have a way of getting itself out of the hand, but you can special summon it from the grave, and from there, you are able to get the 2 6s with these guys, which can then make the Wave High King Caesar. Real quick, just want to explain this. This is basically just if your opponent activates an effect that would special summon a monster, you just detach and negate with no once per turn on that. It has another effect as well, but we're not playing the cards to utilize that secondary effect, so I'm not going to bring it up here. And then we're playing one Unchained Soul, Abominable Unchained Soul. This card's really, really useful. If it's special summoned, you discard a card to destroy any card on the field. Also, it has the ability to special summon itself from the hand if a card is destroyed, and it can also, I believe, bring itself back during the end phase if this card is destroyed, or is in the graveyard because it was destroyed on the field and sent to the graveyard. You can special summon it, put place on the bottom of the deck. Now, notably, I believe you can only special summon it once per turn, so if you special summon it from the hand, you can't do it again. If you special summon it from elsewhere, you can't do that again. So keep that in mind. But all in all, very powerful effect, just, you know, popping a card, non-target. Very useful. We're also running ourselves 3 Tour Guide, as well as the 1 Fiendish Rhino. Tour Guide, just summon any level 3 Fiend. The target is the Fiendish Rhino Warrior, Dear Lanta. Fiendish Rhino Warrior, if it's sent to the graveyard, sends a Fiend. Normally, you're just going to send Shiyama. Sometimes I will send Rakea or something along those lines if I want to get that back. So, yeah, pretty useful, just like a decently good target. But these are going to be used to go into Yama. Yama on summon, specifically on special summon. It adds an Unchained monster from deck or grave to hand. And if a card is destroyed by battle or card effect while it's in the grave, you can special summon a Fiend from your hand or grave, and then you can destroy a card you control. So notably, this means that you can like dodge interaction and stuff like that without having to use things like your Soul of Rage to link off, or your Anguish or something like that, and then just bring them back and then use the effect, which is very, very cool. So lots of cool things like that. Then we're obviously playing 3 Abomination Prison. We're playing 3 Escape, which is the pop. You target an Unchained card, or an Unchained monster, and a card on the field, and then destroy both. Notably, it does say destroy both, not destroy them, or destroy those targets, or something like that. So you do have to destroy both, otherwise it doesn't trigger, which is really annoying. So there's that. We also have the Abominable Chamber, which special summons from hand or grave, an Unchained monster. And then both of these have, or all 3 of these have the same effect, where if they're destroyed while they're set, they special summon an Unchained monster from the deck. Then we have Wailing. Wailing is actually pretty interesting. We're only running the 1 of this because it's better than running like Abominable Chamber or something like that. But basically what it allows you to do is, if you link summon, you just pop a card on the field. Very, very useful. It comes up occasionally where you just need that additional pop. It's really good to get like Abomination to get an additional pop there. So there's that. As for the rest of the cards, we're playing 2 Droll, 2 Nibiru, 3 Maxi, 3 Ash Blossom, 2 Imperm, 2 Called By, and a Crossout. Just kind of a bunch of hand traps. You could also play, instead, more Engine, using the DDD stuff, as well as, like, board breakers. But I think hand traps are a little bit better right now and more important right now, so that's why we're doing that. And then 1 Prosby. As for our extra deck, we're playing 2 of the Wave High King Caesar, and 1 Zeus. That's it for the Xyz. As for the rest, we're playing 2 Rage. We're playing... Oh, this card just links off your opponent's monsters during their turn. Pretty useful. That's kind of all it does. We have a Muckracker. We have 2 Yama. We have the 1 Unicorn, which we can use to link off into, because this links off into, I believe, a Fiend. Dark Link monster. So, yeah, you can link off into the Unicorn and then shuffle away a card. Pretty useful. Similar to, like, IP Masquerena. We have 2 Anguish. Anguish does similar things. You target a face-up monster your opponent controls and link it off. And then it also, if it's destroyed, brings back a guy. We have 1 Nightmare Griffin. We have 1 Abomination. We have 1 Access Code Talker. And we have an Underworld Goddess. That's it for the deck. Let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck performed. Alright, here we are going second. And we just drew Nibiru. Hopefully it's enough. My opponent reveals that they are on Diabellstar. They're actually playing Rescue Ace. They go for the Airlifter. I don't really have anything here, but, you know, we'll see what we can do. They grab up Rescue, so I'm like, wow, their hand must be pretty good if they're grabbing Rescue here. They pitch Turbulence here for the Diabellstar. They go for the Diabellstar to grab the original Sinful Spoils, activate the effect. They're going to pitch the Diabellstar, grab up the Hydrant. Not really anything too interesting here. Grab Preventer. New card. But, yeah, out comes Preventer. They're then going to link off those 2 into the IP Masquerena. They're then going to utilize the Preventer, since if it was sent to the graveyard, to bring back the Turbulence. So that's a cool little interaction there. But Turbulence hits the field, and I'm like, well, I'm going to Nibiru here. At least force them to use the Rescue. You know, they just had the Rescue. Yeah, that was just like a really good play from my opponent. grabbing Rescue. So they're going to go for the Turbulence, or the Rescue to bring back the Turbulence here. And they're still going to get the set 4. So they're going to set another Rescue. They're playing 2 Rescue. Alert, Extinguish, and Contain in these 4 spots. Shuffle those up and set another one. I'm like, okay, well, okay. So first and foremost, most of these interactions aren't all that important. I'm more concerned about these here than I am any of these, because most of these are not that big of a deal. They're like targeted interactions and stuff like that, so we can dodge those if need be. So that's kind of my idea here. But this hand's, I mean, it's fairly decent. So let's see what we can do here. I start off by grabbing a Ruha here off of the Abomination's Prison, and then we're going to set the escape in order to special summon the Ruha. We're going to go escape to go for the Abominable Unchained Soul. We're going to pitch the Fiendish Rhino and just try and, fiend out an interaction. My opponent does go for it. They go for the Contain here. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. We have the Shavara. I'm going to try and dodge here with the Shavara because I do want this pop to go through. They're going to go for Alert here. Just add a monster back to the hand. I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. They're going to grab Hydrant. I'm like, yep, sure. Not really anything I could do about that. So the Contain is dodged. I go for the Unknown, and it was an Imperm. I was kind of concerned it was like a called by or something along those lines. And I'm glad I went for it. Yeah. The last 2 are Contain, or not Contain, Extinguish, which is the one that pops. And the other one, the Rescue, which we already know about. So I'm like, yeah, they can get Preventer. There's not really anything I could do about that. And it would have been a blind hit. So I'm like, yeah, we'll go for that. Glad I did. That was very good. My opponent makes probably the biggest mistake that they possibly could, and they pop a Yoruha here, which is just... I don't know why they decided to do that. Turbulence could have popped, like, Nibiru or Shavara. Even Shavara pop here is, like, fairly decent. It wouldn't have been, like, insane, but that was just, like, the wrong choice. Nibiru pop actually would have probably at least allowed me to not break their board here. Anyway, I go for the Sarama here, off of the popped Ruha, and we're going to go and target our, what did I target? The Escape. They're going to go for the Preventer here. I'm like, okay, sure. At this point, it's just kind of like, when are they going to use the Preventer, and kind of trying to play around that. I pop my Nibiru here because I'm more concerned in keeping the rest of my cards. I kind of need as many Fiends as I can get so that I can go for the Yama. That's kind of the plan here. So I went for the Shiyama in the grave, which we sent off of the Fiendish Rhino, which was great. And then off of the Sarama, we special summon out Rakea here. We're going to link off the 2 6s, which does end up putting back the Shiyama. But out comes Yama, and we're going to go Shavara, Chainlink 1, and then Chainlink 2 Yama. So we're going to grab a second Rakea. Seems kind of weird, but I had already special summoned the other one. And I'm like, yeah, this is just kind of like the best summon here. The reason the Rakea is summoned is because that way, if they do go Preventer, I do have the ability to, like, pop something there if need be with the Rakea. If they book the Rakea, I can then normal summon this other Rakea and still kind of go from there. Anyway, out comes Anguish, and they're going to immediately fire this Extinguish, which is a choice. Because now I get to go Yama effect and I get to go Anguish effect. And Anguish is going to add back the Abominable Unchained Soul so that I have that in my hand for the following turn. And out comes the Anguish. So yeah, I haven't used its effect, so I'm just going to link off with the Preventer, and out comes Abomination. Now, notably, I haven't actually normal summoned the Rakea or done anything with the Rakea, so now I can do that, and I can pop my my previous set card, the Abominable Chamber, which now gives me the ability to also use the Abomination to pop the Turbulence. And so yeah, this is like, I'm tearing apart the board as best I can, and at that point my opponent concedes. Now I basically am in control of that game. There's not really a whole lot that they can do there. I have the ability to deal with the Nibiru token. That's not that big of a deal. I have the ability to deal with the Hydrant if they go for the Hydrant there. I have extra interactions and stuff like that. I still have the ability to I think I was going to go for like Muckracker there, and then I could have brought back like Yama and go into like I could have gone like Nightmare Griffin there, which could have cut off all of their interactions and forced them to go to the battle phase to deal with something like that. So lots of different options I still had available to me there. So there you go. I guess I couldn't have gone Yama, but I could have gone, like, Anguish, I think. Could have brought back the Anguish there, so didn't really matter. But, yeah. Lots of stuff. Very cool game. I really enjoyed that game. But, yeah, there you go. Alright, so here we are going first, and my opponent actually allowed me to go first here. So I see the Sky Striker sleeves, and I go, alright, so it's Sky Striker. Interesting. Especially with, like, an Imperm. Yeah, this is probably Sky Striker. So, there's that. I could have started with the Abomination's Prison here, grab Shavara, and then had targeting protection for the tour guide. I decided to not do that because I just wasn't really thinking about it. But this actually ends up being fairly decent as well. We're going to go for the Yoruha, to which my opponent will go Gamma. Oh, no. Kind of interesting. I'm like, okay, sure. I still don't really think that does much here. I just set 2 and I pass. I have the Chamber for the Aruha in the grave. I have Imperm. I have Escape. And then it was Numeron. It was Numeron. Now this duel is going to show you why Numeron just doesn't work anymore. My opponent got a pretty decent, you know, turn end. And then I set 3. To which my opponent will then go for the, will attempt to go to the battle phase. They're going to go for the Ghost Spell on my Abominable Chamber. Okay, not really anything I could do about that. That just stops that. Okay. They're going to go and attack. I'm just going to Imperm this. They crash. They die. They deal 3,000 damage. If I draw, like, anything, I get to play the game. So my opponent goes for the Megaclops here and just passes the turn. They weren't able to KO. Megaclops is not that difficult for my deck to deal with. A lot of decks nowadays are not just monster-centric, but now actually have the diversification of playing those spells and traps and utilizing them effectively. So, yeah, I'm not really worried about the Megaclops. They're going to go for the Megaclops attack. I'm going to go and special summon my Aruha. They make the mistake of actually attacking into it. Just don't do that against Unchained. Just let it settle in the field. We're going to go for the Sarama here and just special summon it. And at this point, the game is basically over. I draw Wailing, which is such a good top deck as well. I drew 2 really good top decks, and you'll see why in a second. So we're going to go for the Shavara off of the Chamber. I probably should have special summoned the Aruha and then popped it. Not really that big of a deal. I go with the Abominable, or the Wailing, and we're going to go for Chainlink 1 of the Yama, Chainlink 2 of the Shavara, and Chainlink 3 of the Wailing to deal with my opponent's Megaclops. So away that goes, because it's only unaffected by monster effects. So there's that. We grab Rukea here, we set the Escape as well. We're going to go normal summon Rukea, pop the Escape effect. We're going to grab the Shiyama. We're going to go Shiyama effect, or I'm going to pop my own Rukea as well as the Network. And then Rukea effect is going to grab a Ruha here. Now, I said, oh, I should have used the effect to, like, special summon a Ruha. Either way, I think it would have been fine. I still could have basically gotten to this position. But I actually am able to go for the OTK here because we already have the Escape here. So I go for the Escape, pop 2 of my own cards to just utilize the Aruha effect. Special summon out the Abominable Unchained, attack for lethal. Good game. Wild game. Not really. That was pretty good. Alright, and here we are going second with 2 Nibirus. And my opponent is actually playing Congo? Okay. And they just pass. Should I have let them search there with the Okime? Maybe. Maybe not. I do draw Chamber, which is pretty nice here. I'm going to go for Prosby for 3. I reveal off the top the Sarama, so I actually grab the Sarama here. We're going to set 1. We're going to go for the Aruha effect here. To which my opponent will then special summon with Ceremony. Which yeah, okay. So out comes Aruha here. We're going to go for the effect. We're going to summon the Abominable Unchained. We're going to pitch a card. They're going to go for the effect of the Okime. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. There's nothing I can do about that. And I'm going to pop this middle card and then use Rivalry. Rivalry's not doing anything against my deck in particular, but well, that would have been real fun. I see now why they did what they did. They're going to go for the rivalry here. The Makonko rivalry. Sorry, not rivalry of Warlords. On my Yama. Not really anything I can do about that, but that's why we grabbed the Sarama. So we're going to go for the Sarama, we're going to grab the Aruha, and then just immediately pop the Aruha and get it out of there. Aruha effect is going to activate, we're going to grab up the Shavara. We're going to link off into our Anguish. Anguish is just going to link off this Ohime, and we're going to feel pretty good. We're also going to set the Escape here. I go for it, the Unchained Soul of Rage, and they're going to go for the Rivalry here to just add back their Arabesque. So we now have that to worry about. But I do have Ash. I do have Escape. You know, I'm not feeling too bad. We even have Unchained Soul of Rage. Like I'm feeling fairly decent. They top deck Harpy's Feather Duster. I think it's a top deck. It's likely a top deck. So we're gonna go for. We're just gonna allow that and then go for Rakea, which kind of does the same thing. Which basically says like, oh, if you go for the Arabesque, I can just pop whatever you target with it. So there's that. I let them get Ohime. They're going to activate the Ohime, and I'm like, okay, this is where I Ash, so that the effect for the turn, the Ohime effect for the turn, is negated, which is kind of more so what I want, just in case they already had, like, another Ohime or something like that, or access to it. They're going to go for the Arabesque, and I allow it to equip, and then I remember that this card has text, which says the equipped monster can't be destroyed by card effect, and I'm like, oh, whoops. So, had I just popped my Rakea, none of the rest of this would have happened, and it would have been fine. But now this could be an issue, because if they go for Huli and get target protection, I do just kind of lose the game. They don't. They go for Hare. Could not tell you as to why they do this, but they do. They go to the battle phase, I take 18, I'm like, sure. I might as well link off here. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll go for Soul of Anguish here. They're going to go for the Fire Dance and bring back my Nibiru. Huh? See, I think the issue here is that my opponent thought that this didn't target, and it was similar to, like, Underworld Goddess, where you just link off the monster. No, I do have to target your monster. So I just make Abomination with my opponent's monster, and then just attack them for lethal. Very interesting game. Yeah, very weird choices from my opponent. But good game. Alright, we're back with the deck, and honestly, this deck is incredibly fun to play. That's like the biggest thing that I have to take away from it. It also does take a little bit more to actually like understand. I'm still not fully good with each and every combo, obviously. With how many decks I play, it's just... yeah, I just can't... I'm not that good at this one in particular. But with that being said, it is still an incredibly fun deck to play, and it's a very cool combo and a very cool set of cards to interact with. The way that each card interacts and the locks and all of that stuff is very unique, and just overall like a really fun deck to play. It's also very interesting in the way that it interacts with opponents' boards. Obviously, you have the negate with Wave High King Caesar, but a lot of times, the way that you're winning games is through like pushing through established boards, or by utilizing things like Soul of Rage, or just the massive advantage that you get off of like a singular popped card or something like that with like Yama and what have you, to just like generate enough advantage to kind of push through whatever your opponent had. Which is, it's pretty fun, I'm not gonna lie. So there you go. That's going to be it for this episode. I hope you guys did indeed enjoy it. If you did, I like us very much, so appreciate it. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh!, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.